All right, guys, I want you to imagine with me a future where you go to your doctor, maybe you got a chronic disease or something, and instead of just prescribing you some sort of pill, he can actually, or she can actually prescribe you food as medicine. I am not a smart man, but I know for a fact that is going to be part of the future of the medical world. So my question to you is, wouldn't you like to be a part of something that you know is coming? It's like, what if I told you you could invest in Tesla because EVs are going to be part of the future? You'd be like, of course, electric vehicles are going to be part of the future. People predict 2030, 90% of vehicle sales are going to be EV. So it's a no-brainer for me to invest in Tesla. Well, not only do I own Tesla in stocks, not only am I in crypto, it's like, do you think Bitcoin's ever going to be 100K? Well, yeah, they just got to get regulations on stable coins. Institutional investors will come in with a small percentage and then it will start to grow. It'll become the 12th sector asset class that people invest in. Kevin O'Leary, other people watch him on that. These are like no-brainer things for me. So when I get an opportunity to invest in sectors that I know are about to explode, in companies that I think are competent and positioned in the right way with the right people, the right contacts, the right management, I can't ignore it. So I'm about to tell you and introduce you to my friend Joey. Joey is the guy in the upper right-hand corner here, and I'm going to let him speak and share a little how he heard about this opportunity, why he got involved. But again, I have to say this is not financial advice. Everything in this video is purely for entertainment. I'm a complete creep and a loser on YouTube. I know nothing about anything. So with that said, I have put in $50,000 of my own money into something outside of stocks, outside of crypto, and outside of real estate. Now, rarely do I get an opportunity like this. And so, Joey, please introduce yourself. Tell us about this opportunity, when you heard about it. And then later in the video, we're going to actually be able to open this up to you guys to save your time. You're going to need at least $5,000 if you're interested in this project. So if you don't have $5,000, just click off the video because this isn't for you. But yeah, so Joey, take it away. Let everybody know what's going on with this opportunity with Roots Food Group.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So backstory real quick. I have a mentor, a friend of the family, very successful businessman, entrepreneur, and I reach out to him and get some advice from time to time. And he said, wow, you would really line up well with this opportunity. I've been in healthcare for 15 years. I've owned clinics, labs, pharmacies. I know that industry inside and out. And he said, what do you think about this? I've been working on this for the past 3 years to line it out. And have you ever heard about a movement going on with food is medicine? And I said, no, that sounds insane. What are you talking about? Usually it's medicine is medicine. And that's the only way. Well, he told me about a project that was piloted in California where they spent time in small sectors seeing what a span of about a year would do on people that were in certain conditions, from type 2 diabetes to other chronic illnesses, Alzheimer's, strokes, cancers, lung, heart disease. And they showed a drastic loss in the cost of the state spending, because state-funded Medicaid is a state program like all states have. It's called Medi-Cal, serviced by Aetna. Aetna is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, next to United Healthcare, primary, payers in the insurance world. And they fund and back Medi-Cal. And they showed a 32% decrease in health expenditures, an increase of 50% of medical adherence, 20% less hospital visits, and it saved them roughly $1 billion, something crazy on their budget. And it was vastly, being looked at as how are we going to keep affording the chronic illness pathway that's expected to rise 52% in the next 5 years, and the aging population, the way that people take care of themselves. And they saved $1 billion. And they said, wow, let's roll this out. So really the beginning of this movement happened 3 years ago. And that's when Roots Food Group formed at the end of 2019, backed by Robert Jones. And he's been in the food industry. He's a CEO. He's been in it for 20, 30 years. And from a farming background, his parents and grandparents know it. He has agricultural degrees, and he's helped grow the industry from frozen foods to prepackaged foods. He even helped big name brands design foods like HelloFresh, Blue Apron. He's been in that world for a long time, and Fresh Direct. And he said, there's a missing link here that I can fill, knowing my knowledge, and act in the space of food that he knows inside and out, but as a healthcare company. So Roots Food Group is a healthcare company. They are like the Pfizer developing the medication, and they are like the pharmacy that also dispenses and gives out the medication. It's a 2-for-1 here. And that's Robert Jones in the video. I don't know if you can see on the screen here, but Roots Food Group, you can look it up, and it successfully has secured contracts. Now, contracts in the medical healthcare space are worth gold. They basically secured contracts with Aetna and Medi-Cal in a majority of the counties in California, and have begun as of a month ago shipping and sending meals. Now, these meals are healthy, they're condition-based, and they have to be prescribed, or they have to be leaving a hospital or extended nursing facility. And the idea is, imagine if a doctor, just like Jonathan said, hey, you have a condition. We know that food is sometimes a scarcity, and good food for people that are financially at a loss, or at a place where they can't afford the best quality.
Yeah,
And,
quality food's expensive.
Yeah, and meal, some people don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Mhm.
And imagine now the doctor prescribes it, and
So
it gets covered 100% by insurance.
yeah, so it sounds like California is kind of the test state for this. And then there was just I heard there's a national conference at the White House just in the month of October, and there were some other states that are getting on board with this. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so the White House, for the first time in 30 years, since 1969, so more than 30 years, I guess. 1969 was the last time they held this conference on food, health, and nutrition, and they just held it about a month ago. And their number one topic was food as medicine.
Wow.
Besides labels, they're changing up labels, which we have to get used to that. But they want to know how to control the expanding costs of chronic disease in the aging and poverty, I guess, basis genre.
That's a big bill for the United States every year. So if they find out that there's data that supports food as medicine, probably government dollars are going to rush this way, right?
Yeah, there was a bill on the floor, and I believe once the midterms get through, what they're going to do, but it's bipartisan support, meaning Republican and Democratic. It's unheard of, but they are both. It's written by a Democrat, signed and approved by the Republican Party, that will most likely get approved to go nationwide. But state-funded programs like Medicare or Medicaid, opposed to Medicare, which is government and national. Medicaid, they have a state can choose to do that, but it's on the floor right now. It's about to go out, and once that happens, besides that, other states have officially. There are 5 states that officially have come on, just like California. They've seen the data. They know that saves money, costs them literally fractions of what they were spending on healthcare costs and medications in the form of food. Not to mention, it does good. People are, more food security. They're getting fed. The homeless, the people that even veterans that fall below poverty line. But now imagine it's age driven, and their kids qualify, and they get 2 meals a day, 7 days a week for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And that is 1 prescription, and they get refills.
So I don't like to get political on this channel because it doesn't pay the bills to do that. But regardless of what you're feeling right now about government handouts and meals and things like that, the point for me as an investor is it's coming. It's already in California implemented. This company, Roots Food Group, where do they play in the role of all this? So they're a private company. Sounds like they're a startup. They're in the middle of raising more money. Why would I want to be an investor in Roots Food Group, knowing what's happening in the macro story in the United States right now?
Well, there are other, I guess, competitors, and they are nonprofit, and they're usually like mommy meals, Meals on Wheels. There's chip programs, but they're very limited and specific to, you have to be, post-pregnancy, you have certain qualifications. What they have done is they expanded their conditions to qualify from all these different chronic conditions, from Alzheimer's, diabetes, pain, depression,
Wow.
stroke,
So they've
and they've
expanded all of the requirements, which means they're looking for more vendors probably to fulfill, right?
exactly. And they also are the only ones that have these contracts. They are exclusive. They actually had to come up with their own coding
Who did?
for
What do you mean?
CMS. So Medicare, that's Center
Okay.
for Medicare Services. They had to come up with their own code. Now in coding, in insurance world, you have to submit a code, a CPT code, a procedural code to get reimbursed. And they had to make up one. They literally had to sit down and go, okay, what do we do? This is coming. We're going to recognize this. So it's nationally recognized, these codes, but it's the ones that get approved right now.
Are
It
from the
is
States.
Medicaid in
Right.
California. Washington State is coming next. New York. Arkansas just put out a press release that they are expanding that, and nutrition for those that qualify is now going to be a part of it. Oregon, it's expanding rapidly. And the reason Roots is at the forefront, first off, they're in every discussion. They're sitting down with the the CEO is the board of director member for the Diabetes Association of America, and he is the forefront. There is no other competitor. The only competitor right now I can think of is those direct to consumer products, HelloFresh, Blue
Blue
Apron, Fresh
Apron.
Direct, but those you pay out of pocket for, right?
Right.
And their acquisition costs are through the roof, and their sustainability and their, I guess their
Yeah,
rev.
I don't think we should spend much time on the competition side of things, because frankly, it's the same argument with Tesla's. Oh no, the competition's coming. And it's like, that's fine. The market share is expanding way more faster, meaning the amount of people buying EVs now is expanding faster than the amount of freaking EVs that all the car companies are making. You can't
Now
buy a
imagine the
Tesla.
government
Think about the
paid for
government.
you to have
Yeah,
an EV. This is that same
that's beautiful
world.
analogy. So
Yeah.
this is why I'm bringing this to you guys on this channel, and Joey's here, is because we're not shilling something because, hey, like this channel is about me helping people get out of financial debt or get financially free by putting your money to work. Now, not everything is going to be up and to the right forever. We are in a bear market. Recession times do happen. It's cyclical. An induced recession by the Fed is coming, but guess what? It comes for a little while and then it flips the opposite. This is, if you can live for the next 5 to 10 years, trust me, you'll be fine. But these opportunities to invest in companies the size of Roots Food Group, with the competency level of the management team, with the opportunity and signed contracts, is so super rare. So rare that I did my due diligence. I decided this is worth 50K, not 10K, not 25K, was worth a lot. Joey, I should ask you on camera, how much did you throw in this investment opportunity?
150,000 is the amount right now recognized. I do
Wow.
plan on potentially putting more, but as it is right now, 150,000.
Yep.
And
One of my other friends put in 250,000. So I
mhm.
know I'm wearing a hoodie and he's wearing a golf shirt, and it looks like we're broke as jokes, but I'm telling you guys, these are crazy times. I don't even work for Roots Food Group, but like, I just get excited about business opportunities like this. So maybe you could share with us a little bit of like a slide deck, and then let's go into the financials to see what an investment in this would look like. And
Sure.
as he's pulling that up, guys, the link in the description will be for Joey's email, because if you do decide to take action, you will need to sign a contract before you send a wire into this company. And the way it works is you basically become an equity holder in the company. You'll own 0.1% or 0.05% of the company. And the goal is that this company will eventually garner the attention of some of the big dogs and probably sell, right? Like, have they ever had offers to, even now, knowing what they have and the contracts they have they had any offers to sell already?
Yeah, they have actually. And one of the big guys, HelloFresh, they're very intertwined because of Robert, the CEO's relationship already, and helping design some of their products at the very beginning. They have already made it very clear that they know this is the future, and they have danced around a number, a very, 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 very high number. I don't want to get into too much details, but has a B attached to it. And to purchase it once it gets to a reasonable threshold of sustainable revenue. And we talked about this being a startup. And I'm like even calling it a startup, but 3 years it
Yeah.
took to line out the processes. They have all the 3PLs, all the delivery. They have over $1 million in inventory. They had to get FDA clearance for 64 different SKUs, which is a hard thing to do, to say
Yeah, the
this
FDA
food can
doesn't
be,
work overnight.
yeah, and this food, can we call it medication? Can we call
Right.
it a prescribe worthy item and not just a boxed food or a frozen food that shows up
Right.
on your
And
doorstep
provide
for a
data that
subscription?
supports that if they eat this food, they do get feeling better, blah, blah, blah. They've done all the groundwork, you're saying. So to call it a startup is a little like slap in the face to them.
And getting the contracts. I mean, though they don't hand those
Yeah.
out willy-nilly, especially if there's not a literal category. They had to create one
Yeah.
before it even was recognized by the National Food Conference, Health and Nutrition. They're so early that it gives me chills, because of, first, I am so proud of like where the healthcare industry is going, but for
Yeah,
them to
it's the right
realize
step.
it,
It's the right
yeah.
step.
And it's helping people. It's all those good things, but it's geared up to make the investors and the company a lot of money, but they have the right people. These people Robert has worked with. I mean, for example, one guy that used to manage and produce Pillsbury products in Hostess, like little Debbie cakes. He was in a facility, to give you a kind of conceptual idea, 200,000 square feet. He would have, I think it took 2,000 cows to produce the butter, an hour to produce what they did a week. I mean, these guys are on a mega scale. And one of the most unique things about this is because the revenue is high, it's $1,200 per prescription. That's amazing. That's approved. That's a number. That's a real number. $7 a meal, 2 meals a day, 7 days a week for 12 weeks. That's one prescription, and it gets refilled. But what's their acquisition cost? They have reps on the floor, like pharmaceutical reps, but like farm with an F, if you will. But it's there's that's that piece right there. But the rest is going to doctors. And the doctors, by the way, are on fire for this. Everyone that they've spoken to is like, wow, are you kidding? This is not real. And
Right. So
why
there's
has this not been
doctors in
done?
California right now being able to prescribe this, right?
Right now, they are shipping out. On top of, they are aligning themselves with a hospital group called Cardinal Health, one of the, if not the biggest,
Yeah, I was gonna say they're huge.
basically group purchasing. They do all like the bedpans and all the at-home stuff. They provide the food and they bill the hospital. The hospital turns around and bills insurance. We have a contract with Cardinal to supply them the food. So they leave with the food. So the hospitals flip beds like they're turning tables at a restaurant.
Yep.
It's better for them. They leave with the food. Cardinal's buying it wholesale. So there's another line of income in this business, because you don't have to rely solely on insurance.
Right.
So
There's
that's a
so many
great,
there's so many verticals through the
so many.
hospitals, through probably pharmacies. Like, do they have any pharmacies
VA.
that they can sell this through? Like
Oh
CVS,
yeah.
Walgreens?
Actually, CVS Health Hub will be rolling out in Q1 with some select few of their health hubs. Imagine there's no register ring. You can buy everything in the store for less than 1,200. And if you go to CVS outside of the pharmacy itself, this
Mhm.
is a $1,200 register ring they get to do, and they bill Medicaid. In
So I could
CVS
go to
gets
like one day in the future, first quarter of 2023 at certain CVS's, I imagine in California. I can go in and see Roots Food Group food in there and pick some up and know what my Medi-Cal is going to pay for it.
that actually they leave with a portion of it, say like a week's worth, but then the rest goes through and ships as if it was a prescription, because it's going to be coming from us. But they leave with the food in their health hub. They get to ring it as a register fee, and they have their own health hub as if they were prescribing it. And that begins Q1 in California. There are, I think, 500 in California CVSs or something like that.
Wow.
And they're going to roll out in a select few and expand until
Right.
other states pick it up, which we know they are.
Yeah.
But I guess let me jump into a few other statistics and numbers, the investment opportunity, just to talk about a few things, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Let me share this. You see that screen?
Yep.
So chronic disease is what it's really focused on. It's costing the United States $3.3 trillion annually. We know it's not getting any better. 4 in 10 adults in the US have 2 or more, and all they need is one that would qualify. Scrolling down, we know all these bad stuff, right? The healthcare costs are going through the roof. This is why they recognize it. We need to do something, and medication isn't doing it. And exercise and telling people what to eat isn't doing it. What if we supplied the healthy food as an alternative for those that don't have good choices already, but also have been proven to combat disease?
Yeah.
Healthcare spending in 2020, it goes through the roof. We talk about just jumping up in the federal government costs, and that's what they see as, that slope is not what the government wants to see when it's already trying to combat,
Yeah. It's a good thing
all the
to
different
politically
expenses.
run on. That's why the White House brought them in as a theme, because they're like, man, we got to cut these costs and we want to be the party to do it. Okay, you guys have the data that shows food as medicine works better than all the other crap we're doing. Let's give it a shot. We'll try it in one state. We'll see what happens. We'll fund it across all states if it's legit. So we're in just data collection mode from California right now with Roots Food Group. And then think about all the data. It's like Tesla's self-driving. They collect all that data. They become stronger. That's why I anticipate Roots Food Group, because they have exclusive contracts in California. They're going to be the go-to people. Do they have any proprietary like tech, distribution? Is it just a food company? Anybody can make food. So why Roots Food Group? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, they do have technology that is really incredible. It's an app-based technology that actually links to every compatible through API Bluetooth connection, from the Aura Ring to blood pressure cuffs to glucose monitoring, and it's can get allocated as one dashboard for everything to be seen. And that's also the place where they go and get their prescriptions and get updates and get their foods. They get to actually choose the foods, their breakfast and dinner, and get to up to date. On top of, they have an entire series of how to prepare food correctly, how to what foods to look for, and nutrition plans and exercise routine and programs built into this app that they all get. It's free, and they aggregate that. For example, just last month, they rolled out United Healthcare is the #1 provider for payer for health insurance for FedEx. FedEx just went with this program out of Indiana to pilot it, and they got a digital scale. They're getting the app, and they're aggregating the health of not individuals because of HIPAA compliance, but they all get kind of a tag number, a barcode. But they're going to see the meals they get. They're going to see their medical adherence. They're going to see their medical costs, because United Healthcare is funding this, go down, and they're going to have everything from BMIs to weight losses, all based around and integrated in this app. Now, it's really interesting too.
So they're collecting data. Data is oil.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever you go to explain, why should we pick up this program? Well, in the state of California, we lost 5,000 pounds. And people, and people mass, and the medication costs went down, and here's all that data. And they're being proactive in that stance because they know that question is going to come up. And they can't always see the dollars and cents of every state. So they're going to go back to what is it actually doing and driving the health. So that technology is in there. So it's not just a healthcare company. It's not just a food company. It's also a technology company when it comes time to sell. And by the way, I know the CEO. I've made myself an important person as much as I can to him by going up there. It's based out of Dallas, their headquarters. And I want to get really plugged in because I love this. But he has told me, and he's open, he will say it to anybody, the objective would be to find a suitable partner that can help expand this vision. And if that means a merger, a partnership, or an acquisition, I am open to all of it when the time is right for the right price. And the time is right. I kept on going back to that time frame. And I said, what is that time frame? What is that right for you? And he said, well, a year and a half, maybe 2.
To sell the whole company?
That is, he told me for the right price, everything, he's real. He's real. He's a realist. And he's like, yeah, if someone comes over
and that's music to investors' ears, guys, because that means that your portion of the company now becomes realized profits in your checking account. So maybe we can transition to some of the financials, what it looks like. Because I know that's why people are watching is, hey, I just want to know, I get it. It's altruistic. It's a great idea. It will help many people. But at the end of the day, how can I make a buck from this sucker?
Absolutely. So the way that it's organized right now, and they did it really smart.
Who's they?
Doing it.
Roots Food Group?
Yeah. So they are evaluating the company, and putting it at like a kind of a stop, a cap. They're not going out and getting private funding from big
Can you make that
organizations that
bigger,
will,
by the way? Sorry.
oh yeah, that will dilute it. Is that better?
Yeah, bigger, the biggest you can would be great. The bigger, the better.
Okay. So
Yeah. So tell me about they're raising money. Now, why are they raising money? Shouldn't they be able to just collect money from a bunch of hedge funds? Why do they need the little guy like you and me?
well, they don't, I wouldn't want to say they need it. They are also generating revenue, but they are also at a place where they want to hire and expand and keep the ball rolling while they have the momentum. So they have inventory. They need to keep that going. They have monthly order minimum quantities, and they have personnel that they want to continue to hire, including reps. They just brought on legal counsel and marketing internal, the same marketing guy that brought Fresh Direct from a small block in the Bronx to over $1 billion in revenue in a short time frame. He is their marketing guy. By the way, the legal counsel is working for free. I think he gets an equity component, small, and he also wrote a check, a 6-figure check. Now, what kind of, what that says a lot about somebody that wants to come on,
Yeah.
not get paid necessarily, hope for the long term, and write a check to be an investor on top of that. That is huge. On top of people like friends and family. And it's really has that feel, that vibe of friends and family whenever you're talking about who's investing. And that's the way they've kind of kept it. They're not looking to get, $100 million and dilute everything. But what it's come down to is this small opportunity. They're looking to raise a small amount. And the idea is, what can we do? They also have grants and funds out there. California in particular has issued like $3 billion in funds towards healthcare improvement opportunities. And they do it in tranches, which they have one coming out in December, one in February. So they might not even be doing any. The idea was to move to a Series A and raise it based on a higher valuation than what our Safe Note series is, which I can go into. It's newer to me, but basically there's a cap and you get in as a lower discount, and then it gets released the equity whenever Series A rolls out, and you get the benefit of having a bigger company write the terms and benefits on their lawyer's dime, if you will. But anyways, it locks in the cap. So if you're looking at this, the valuation of the company right now, and it will go up, I have been told, to 100 million when it rolls out for the next series of funding, if they even do it. But 50 million is the evaluation component top.
Which
The
you're looking
investment,
at, you and I are looking at going, that's a joke.
yeah, 50 million, to get it in perspective, that's like in a few months, the way that the numbers work out. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
They'd have
50,
to really suck, in my opinion, to not hit that. But because when you sell a company, guys, you sell it at a multiple. So
right.
let's say the company was, grossing $10 million and it was only a 5x. Cool. There's your 50 million. But these multiples in this space are often more than a 5x, and $10 million is so easy for them to hit, given the size of distribution network they have, the size of team they have, the verticals of income and revenue via the contracts they have. One state, California, let alone the others. Like, you got to start this, start understanding, like, this is easy peasy, in my opinion, if it's managed right.
They went to their financial guys and Lehman Brothers, these big wigs, and they said, okay, we're about to open it up. Potentially November 14th or 15th is going to end this series, and we're going to roll into Series A. What should we evaluate it at? And they said no less than 100 million. That's what these big wig bankers told these guys that do this for a living.
Wow.
And they also have no debt, by the way, this company. And they've chosen that. They've been
they run a lean ship,
approved, but they don't want to go into debt.
Right. And the CEO doesn't want to just give away equity all over the place.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I just said, yeah. And Robert, the CEO, his business model is giving retail people a better shot, because if he goes to the institutional level, he'll probably have to give up a lot more equity than if he goes to us. So
absolutely,
I get that, and I'm okay with that, because you know, I didn't get a shot to invest in Uber and invest in Tesla early days, but here I have an opportunity to invest in something that in my mind can easily become a national vendor to service government. And when the government gets involved, that means it's assured money. They're
Mhm.
paying on a weekly base, on whatever, they're going to get their money. It's just an interesting, awesome opportunity in my mind. So 50
Yeah, and that's
million
another
valuation.
reason why they're going, and they opened it up to friends and family and friends of friends and things like that. And that's why, you know, the opportunity is still there for a low minimum of 5,000, like you mentioned. And they're not going to have that opportunity to have people in that are passionate and like-minded for low cost. When they open it up to the big guys, first they're going to come in and completely try to destroy the valuation and dilute everybody, which this safe note protects you, by the way. But they also will come in and go, just like a Kevin O'Leary or Mark Cuban in Shark Tank, go show me the numbers. Because if you would have said that to Uber or, you
Yeah,
know,
show me your
Tesla,
sales. Oh, you've only
show
given
me,
five
yeah,
five
you better
taxi
be
rides.
making. And it's like, well,
You sold
yeah,
10
but you have to
meals.
believe in
Yeah.
it. Right. And that's one of the reasons. And so when they're ramping up and revenues coming in, that's a
Yeah.
lot easier conversation to have with those big guys. Now, when
Right. It's
us, we get the
prospective future
vision.
revenue.
Exactly. So if you put in here, for example, we talked about 50,000, right?
Well, like we could do a smaller amount for someone if they put in 10,000, maybe. What would that look like? I don't know.
At
And guys,
10,000 is
we can't
basic.
say, oh, this is for sure or anything. Like, don't come back and sue
No.
us. This is all like, hey, we're just having fun on a freaking spreadsheet. It means nothing.
Yeah, this was actually provided the same advice. Like, look, these are what we've seen in the industry
Right.
that we know, and this means nothing if nothing ever happens.
Right.
And this is speculative 100%. But the valuation is all based on this. And you put in 10,000, you get 0.02% of the company based on the evaluation. And when the gross revenues, and these are based on gross revenues with just California, by the way, just California. There's nothing else in here about Cardinal Health, United Healthcare, other states, CVS Health Hub, nothing else. This is just based on their projections, and they've been watered down. I think they're actually higher than this, but year one, year two, year three. But if they sell up to year one with this revenue, I don't imagine that happening. You still have your 5X, which 5X in this industry without technology, 5X isn't probably realistic. It's probably closer to 7 to 10 for this type of industry, and especially with the contracts and so unique and it's growing. But technology, as you know, you throw that data in there, data is, you know, like gold. You can do a lot of things if people buy it just for that component alone. You're looking at 15x, you know.
But
But
what
at
is
the same,
the, like, how come year one, like it says 34 million gross revenue? Is that realistic though?
absolutely, that breaks down. You got to think about it this way. So it's $1,200 per script every quarter per patient.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you get, there's, let's say in these counties, there's, I don't know, 500 to 1,000, let's say 1,000 doctors, and they're writing a script a day,
Right. In
right?
California, which what they're doing right now, hopefully.
Right. So let's say, what's that, 1,000 a day, potentially. Let's say 500 scripts a day, which they are able to do. I mean, they have the inventory, they have the capability, they have the full infrastructure. So 500 a day, 5 days a week is 2,500
Yeah.
a week times 4 is 100,000 prescriptions a month, right?
Times
That's,
4 is 10,000. 2,500 times 4 is
oh yeah,
10,000
10,000. Sorry. I'm jumping ahead to the next one. Then it's $1,200,
times
$1,200 a script,
$1,200. So that's 12 million.
12 million. And that's in 1 month.
And that's in one county or one state, a couple counties, a couple doctors here and there.
Yeah, I said 500 doctors, but that's
Yeah.
like, we have, I think it is 53 counties that have approved this.
In
And that means there's,
California right now.
yeah. And
So they have
I mean,
pharmaceutical reps going around to all these doctors telling them like, hey, bro, in Medi-Cal, you can now prescribe food as medicine. Let me show you all about it. And then they go, oh, wow. And these, you're saying reports from boots on the ground so far, doctors going, I love this. I'm going to start shilling this to my patients as it applies.
they're hiring at a rapid pace. I forget the number was at for the reps right now. They're in the teens, the 20s, and they're already plugged in people. So they have clinics and they're going to 10 doctors a day, and they're promoting this, and every single one of them
Let's
is catching
go.
on. Yeah. So, I mean,
Come on, guys.
realistically,
Like, it's just so stupid. I almost feel embarrassed at how dumb this interview with you is, Joey, of the opportunity. It's just so, because the writing's on the wall. Like,
mhm.
it's gonna be an awesome thing. Like, I don't see how this isn't the future. Like our
Yeah, I mean,
generation, Joey, like we are so health conscious compared to our parents' generation. And my mom and dad admit that. They're like, yeah, like we drank freaking Kool-Aid as kids. We drank Sunny Delight as kids. Do you see parents doing that now? No, it's Gatorade zero. It's Red Bull zero sugar. Everything's changing. Food consciousness is becoming a thing. Doctors are now going to have the culture and the type of patient going, hey, I don't like pills. Oh, well, what about food as medicine? Do you eat properly? No, I don't like spending all that money at Whole Foods. I'm not bougie like that. I don't really cook a lot. Have you considered these meal plans? Oh, I don't like meal plans. Their frozen food sucks. Whatever. Well, let me tell you, if it's covered by your Medicare, would you eat it? If I tell you it makes you feel better, here's all the data, and you use this app and blah blah blah. I'd get excited about that. If some doctor prescribed that to me and it's paid for, and I get this app, and I'm gonna start feeling better, it would be exciting, way more exciting than waking up and freaking emptying a bunch of pills and putting them in your mouth. Are you kidding me? And
yeah.
this
And
is
then
California right now, guys. This is happening right now. It's not some future. Oh, they're talking about one day. These contracts took forever to get in place, took years. Roots Food Group finally got them in California. And then there's a White House meeting literally last month, and Biden and the Democrats and the Republicans, everybody's on the same page going, yeah, we want this for the future of America, not because we care about Americans' health, but because we like saving money and it looks good politically. And the benefit just is that Americans get healthier.
they
So
have no
yeah,
choice. They have no choice at this
no
point.
choice.
And they've removed all the barriers. Like the doctor prescribes it as if it's a medication. The doctor doesn't have to know anything about nutrition, nothing, because the patient goes on, once they get the approval, they choose, or over the phone with somebody, and it gets shipped to them. It's done deal, shows up on the doorstep. It's microwavable and or cooking it on a stove. And by the way, guys, and Jonathan, you got to come down here. And one of the reasons why I go up there so much, the headquarters, it is damn good food. Like I had salmon, I had crab cakes. I mean, this is like what they're getting in these, and they're literally pulling it out, throwing it on the stovetop because they have a test kitchen in there. They have a bunch of fun stuff. And
Sorry,
and that's the
guys,
part.
recording stop. Continue that, Joey.
Yeah, it's amazing food. That's the other part. You can give away a shit ton of like good food, like,
Yeah.
or just food for free. And we don't really care that much because we just hand it to you, the value. But this actually tastes really good. I have some stuff in my fridge, and my kids love it. And the other cool thing is kids get it for free. They
Wow.
get it tacked on. So not just a mom and dad thing. If they have a parent that has a condition and they have two kids, they are getting it covered now. So not just one prescription will ever be just one prescription. There's refills, and it won't just be one person getting it, and it won't be just one reimbursement. Now you have a family. Maybe the mother doesn't qualify because she doesn't have a condition. The father does. But hey, I have two kids that are below the age of 18 that live in my house. Boom. Now that just tripled the prescription. So I didn't even get into that with the numbers. We talked about one patient a day. No, that's more like three, because majority
Yeah,
households
and they're
have one
going
and
to
a half
tell
kids.
their friends, and their friends are going to go to their doctors and all this crap. So, okay, we got to wrap
Yeah.
this up. What is
Yeah.
the opportunity? Let's maybe stop your share. Yeah. So if you are interested after hearing all this and you're looking, for more information, you have at least, Joey's a busy man, I'm a busy man. Please don't be like, I don't know if I have the money. If you don't have the money, just don't contact us. The minimum is $5,000. And Joey is friends, or he's close with the CEO. So if you have any inkling that this is something you want to be a part of, then you should reach out to Joey. I'll put your email in the description. Is there anything else, Joey?
Yeah, I think it's one thing. I mean, invest what you feel is risk capital. It's really important to understand that. I mean, we are all very hopeful. This is a real company. The guy's not going away and disappearing. He has a ton of staff. that they've actually invested their own money and their kids' money in it.
Crypto
So
would
it's
say
not
he's
like,
fully doxxed.
yeah, he's fully
His
doxxed. It's
offices
not
are
like,
real. They're not virtual offices. You can go visit him in Dallas.
yes. And that's the other thing I was going to say. Like, if you really feel like, you want to invest, you want to bring other people on board, come
Yes.
out and visit. Like, we had Royce come out, one of your friends, and works a lot with you. And he came out and invested some, came out and visited, and was on a phone call, happened by happen chance, with the Diabetes Association with Robert, heard about their expansion and their growth ideas. And also, the whole blind society. By the way, they have Be My Eyes program where there's 63 million people or something, like 63 million people in the United States that were qualified because they're blind, and they immediately, and they get food.
Yeah,
And
that's just one vertical, guys. Think of
that's
all the
one. Yeah.
verticals across
And
these.
every week I get more updates. I get to see and talk to the people that are involved in it. It's always growing.
Is there
But
any NBA players that have thrown money in this?
actually, yes. Chris Paul is a big supporter. He's an
From the
investor
Phoenix
in his
Suns?
organization. And then Kevin Love is also part of this. There's one other guy. Gosh, I'm going to forget. I'm not an NBA fan, honestly. But these guys
Yeah,
are
and that's
involved.
not a good financial strategy anyways, to just follow where celebrities throw their money, because they make a lot of dumb investments too. But okay, guys, so let's wrap it up because the video's gone on a long time. Joey's email's in the description. Hit him up. Again, minimum 5,000. You can get in right now. The minimum, you have to get your money in by November 15th. Okay, that's it. Then it's closed. We're not fielding any calls. That's it. Full disclosure, Joey is working with them. Possibly there might be a kickback on all the investors we bring. So I want to make sure you know that. Not motivated by that. I'm motivated by my own bag in this sucker, and hoping that we actually sell this company in a few years and I make a great multiple on it, knowing that my money was working for the benefit of literally helping thousands of people in America. Like, I'd love to go to a CVS one day and be like, part owner in that company. No big deal. No big deal. Like, it'd just be cool. So we'll see. That's it for this video. Joey, thanks for your time, man. And we look forward to getting you guys more information if you need it, and hopefully get you part of the Roots Food Group team. With that, we'll see you in the next one.